Hello students, welcome to the class on entrepreneurship. Today we will be learning on the second unit on entrepreneurship, that is on entrepreneurial planning. Under this we will be learning these different topics, that is on economic activities, non-economic activities, and also the different forms of enterprises. So starting off with the first topic that we will be discussing is on economic activity. So economic activities are those activities that are undertaken by a person in order to earn profit for the purpose of survival and also for the purpose of the growth of his or her own enterprise. Under economic activities, there are different activities that are undertaken. The first one being profession, then employment, then a business. Profession is with regard to those person who possesses a skilled and specialized knowledge in that particular field or area. Employment talks about a person who works under a superior for a purpose of receiving a remuneration at the end of every month. Business talks about the state when a person is being busy earning profit, starting up his or her own enterprise. The activities that are undertaken under economic activities are manufacturing, service, and trading. Manufacturing talks about the production of goods and services for the purpose of consumption by the consumers. Service is an intangible commodity, a type of economic activity that is intangible and cannot be stored and does not result in ownership. For trading, it refers to the activity of buying and selling of goods and services, maybe between different persons within the state or maybe throughout the countries. Non-economic activities. Non-economic activities are those activities that are undertaken for a purpose out of love or sympathy. It has nothing to do with monetary benefits. So these are the introduction part for these economic activities and the non-economic activities. The next topic is on forms of enterprises. There are three different forms of enterprises, that is the private sector, the public sector, and the joint sector. Private sector refers to those sector that is owned, managed, and controlled by the private individuals. Public sector, on the other hand, are owned, managed, and controlled by the public authorities. The joint sector is a form of partnership between the private sector and the government, where management is in the hands of the private sector with enough of the representation from the board of directors and the government too. Under private sector, we have different forms of, again, organization, business organization. The first one being sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship talks about a single person owning that particular organization. Sole talks about single and the proprietorship talks about the ownership. According to Mr. W.R. Bassett, the one a man control is the best in the world, if that man is big enough to manage everything. The next, under sole proprietorship, we have the characteristics. Characteristics of sole proprietorship are, it can be one person owning that particular organization. It can be him alone investing in that particular organization. It can be him alone facing the profits and the losses in that particular organization. Then comes partnership. Partnership, according to the Indian Partnership Act 1932, partnership is a relationship between two or more persons who have agreed to share the profits of the business carried on by all or any of them acting on behalf of the all. Two heads better than one. This is what we can say for partnership, because here there are more than two persons involved in starting up that particular organization. Under partnership, we have the partnership deed and registration. Partnership deed talks about the written agreement where all the do's and don'ts with regard to the way that particular organization will be carried out, everything is mentioned in that particular written agreement, which is known as a partnership deed. Then talking about registration. Registration is important whether in the beginning or towards the time you carry out your business. You should register your business so that you can file or you can sue people who have tried to file or who have tried to sue the name of your particular company. That is why registration in the court of law is very important. Under partnership, we have some of the characteristics like 2 or more persons being involved, agreement being there, profit or losses being shared, a mutual agency, unlimited liability between both the parties, and utmost good faith. Then we have the joint stock company. Joint stock company, according to Professor L.H. Henny, he said that a joint stock company is a voluntary association of individuals for profit having a capital divided into transferable shares, the ownership of which is the main contribution towards this particular organization. Under joint stock company, we have some of the features like ownership, membership, management, and liability. Joint stock company is one of the company that is involved in a multi activities. That is, their turnover is in terms of huge. Hindu unlimited family. The next topic that we will be learning is on Hindu undivided family. Hindu undivided family talks about the family business that comes from the generation to generation that is going on in that particular country. And the Hindu undivided family, there are two very important school of laws. The first one being Dayabaga and the next one being the Mitakasha. Dayabaga is applicable in the West Bengal and parts of Assam. Under this concept of Dayabaga, what happens is the son acquires the right to the family property after the death of his father. But under Mitakashara, what happens is it is applicable in the rest of India other than West Bengal and Assam, where the son acquires the right to the property only by his birth to that particular family. So this is about the Hindu undivided family. Some of the features of Hindu undivided family are there are unlimited liability involved, there are creation involved, there are liability with regard to the investments, and everything falls into the head of that particular Hindu undivided family, that is the Karta, who is the head of the family and who takes all the decisions on behalf of that particular business. Then comes the cooperative society. Cooperative societies are those organizations that are voluntarily started by people with a motive to help the people in the society for their survival. These cooperative societies were usually started up with the concept of helping people, especially to those needy ones who are unable to fulfill the basic needs for themselves. Under cooperative societies, some of the features are voluntary organization, that is the government control, and also the service motive. The cooperative society believes in serving people, and that is why the group of people, what they have done is they have come together jointly, putting in the investments as much as possible from their side, and they have started up that particular organization. So whatever profit comes under these cooperative societies, these are being used for the purpose of helping out the basic needs of the people and also the people who are working in their particular organization. So today we have learned the topic on economic activity, the profession, employment, business. We have also learned discussed about the activities inspired by the economic activities, that is the manufacturing, the service, and the trading. Non-economic activities are those activities that are undertaken out of love and sympathy. We have also discussed about the form of enterprises, that is the private sector, the public sector, and the joint sector. Under private sector, there are the different forms of business organization, starting from sole proprietorship, then partnership, joint stock company, Hindu undivided family, and the cooperative society. The next topic is on business plan. Business plan is a comprehensively written down document prepared by the entrepreneurs describing formally all the relevant internal and external elements involved in starting up a new venture. What to do, how to do, who is to do are some of the concepts or some of the questions that gets more clear when a proper business plan is being prepared. Business plans are decision-making tools that describes all necessary inputs for enterprise. Business plan also helps an entrepreneur in exploring the mode of utilization of the resources and also outlining the desired goal of the entrepreneur. This business plan should be written by a lawyer, accountants, market researchers, engineers, and internet sites. So these are the different sources, or these are the different group of people who should be involved in preparing a particular business plan. business plan has a lot of hand in the establishment of a particular venture. Without a proper planning, as planning itself says, thinking in advance what is to be done next in the future. So keeping in mind this statement, the concept of business plan is being prepared in such a manner that helps the entrepreneur in achieving the goals that have been set up by him for his particular organization. So the different formats that should be followed while preparing the business plan. The first one being the elevator pitch. Elevator pitch is a 3-minute summary prepared in order to give a clear picture with regard to the business plan that is being undertaken. Then comes a pitch deck with oral narrative. This is a hopeful, entertaining slide show and oral narrative that is meant to trigger discussion and a partial interest in reaching the written presentation. Then comes a written presentation for external stakeholders. These business plans are specially prepared only for the external stakeholders. Stakeholders are those people who have interest in your particular business, who make investments in your particular venture or business. An internal operational plan. This business plan is prepared for the management to have a clear picture on what is to be done next, and also the feasibility of that particular plan that they have taken out, how far it is giving them a fruitful result. That is the concept being made clear under this internal operational plan. The different components that should be involved while preparing the particular business plan includes introductory profile. Under this introductory profile, the name, the address, the qualification, the experience of that particular entrepreneur should be mentioned. The industry's details, the profile of the particular organization, the product details as to which product, which good or which services you are going to manufacture, that needs to be clear. Business venture. Business venture talks about the site, the manufacturing process, the production process, the labor, the transportation that you will be using, all the different resources with the help of which you are going to start up your particular business. That should be included in your particular business venture. Then comes the organizational plan. These organizational plan are being prepared so as to know as to which category of organization or business enterprise you are planning to start up. Because there are 5 different types of organization, business organization that can be chosen by the particular entrepreneur. The first one being a sole proprietorship, that is a single person owning that particular overall business. Joint stock company, company started under law. Partnership, where 2 or more persons are involved in starting up that particular business, sharing the profits and the losses. Joint Hindu family talks about the family business that goes on from generation to generation. Cooperative societies, which is all about voluntarily people coming up and starting up that particular organization. That is the organizational plan. Then comes the production plan. Production plan has to do with regard to the manufacturing of that particular goods that you have decided, or the product that you have decided to introduce with the help of the business venture that you are going to start up. And the production plan, we have no manufacturing plan, partial manufacturing or complete manufacturing. Under no manufacturing, that is, under no manufacturing, what happens is your business plan will deal only with the selling of that particular, trading of the particular goods. Production has nothing to do under this no manufacturing. Under partial, the parts, certain parts of the particular product will be manufactured in your organization, and certain parts you will be introducing it from outside. So under partial manufacturing, what is to be done is all the details with regard to the companies from whom you are going to get the final products needs to be mentioned clearly. Then comes the complete production. Complete production talks about the entire product being produced in your own organization without seeking the help or without buying the goods from any of the outside organization. Then comes the operational plan. And the operational plan, it is all about how are you going to operate your business. How is the business going to be operated in the competitive market? The first one being a routing. Routing is a process concerned with determining exact route or path a product or service has to follow right from the raw material till its transformation into the finished goods. Then comes the scheduling. Scheduling means the fixation of the time, date, day when the product is going to be completely produced. Then comes the dispatching. Dispatching is the process of initiating production in accordance with the preconceived production. Then comes the follow-up. Follow-up is helpful in dispatching errors and defects in the work that is carried on so far. Then comes the inspection. Inspection is the art of comparing materials, products, or performance with established standards. Then comes shipping. Shipping is, this section goes beyond the manufacturing process and describes the flow of goods or services from production to the ultimate consumers. Then comes the human resource plan. The human resource plan talks about the manpower that will be required in order to function the particular idea that you have thought of. Without human resources or without a proper manpower planning, your organization goals cannot be achieved, because ultimately it will be this manpower who will putting in their heart and soul in order to bring success and feasibility to the business plan that you have decided to choose now. The some of the questions like what kind of people are required, how many people are required, and also how to procure those people who are required. How are you going to select your personnel? How are you going to go for recruitment? What are going to be the different criteria on the basis of which you are going to appoint people to work for you? These are the planning done under this human resource plan. Then comes the marketing plan. Marketing plan talks about the actual place where the goods will be finally sold off in the competitive environment. Under this, the very important things are the 4 P's. The 4 P's which talks about the product, price, place, and promotion. Product is the ultimate good that is to be produced. Price talks about the exchange on which you will be receiving that particular good. Place talks about that particular location from where are you planning to sell your production. That is the channels of distribution. There can be direct channels of distribution or there can be the indirect channel of distribution. Then comes the promotion. Promotion talks about how are you going to sell the products to your ultimate consumer. Are you going to go for door to door or are you going to go for personal selling? So these are the questions of which are to be cleared on the marketing plan. So all these points need to be considered before preparing the marketing plan. Also not forgetting the SWOT analysis, which talks about the strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat that your particular venture will face. So when preparing this particular marketing plan, you should also think about how to tackle with the competition or threats that are coming the way of your business. Then comes the financial plan. Financial plan talks about how much funds are required, how will the funds come from, how much of cash are available in the market for your business, and also the amount of cash available in your hand. So when we are talking about a financial plan, finance is ultimately the lifeblood of the business. Without investing, without running of finance, your business cannot actually take place. The product that you have thought of launching in the market cannot take place until and unless proper finances are invested in that particular idea that you have chosen. Then comes the miscellaneous, the appendix. That is the letters, the miscellaneous and our appendix parts are those where the actual documentation are not required. That is, these are the backup materials. Okay, that is not necessary to be shown in that particular business plan. But for the backup, in order to review it towards the end, as to different resources or the different sources from where you have arranged all the different information in order to get a clear picture to this miscellaneous or appendix part should be considered. Under this, you will have letters from the customers, any primary or the secondary data that you have used, copies of the contracts or agreements if you have received any. So these are the different components of business plan which has a big hand in the actual launch of the business in the market. Without the proper introduction to your particular venture, without the proper planning of your venture, without the proper organizational, production, operational, human resource, marketing, financial, and also the miscellaneous backup, your business plan will not be feasible. The components of business plan plays a very, very important role in establishing the goals that the particular entrepreneur has set up. So the topic that we have discussed now is based on the concept of the business plan, the elements, the formats of the particular business plan, and also the different components that should be included when these are being prepared by the lawyers or accountants or market researchers or engineers or internet sites. So when preparing the business plan by these people, these are the different topics or these are different areas that should be considered. Thank you. Stay safe.